Some people might ask why we love horror. Is it the kills? Is it the effects? But sometimes what really draws me into the movies is an incredible performance.
No, mine's the effects.
Well, on this episode of Body Bag Podcast, we are going to be talking about the top 10 best performances in horror.
Just the men.
Yeah, last time we did the ladies, so now we're going to do the men.
And I actually got it done correctly this time.
Yeah.
There's no I had no power of editing to make it seem like Chris knew how to do this top 10. I got it all nice and written down.
Yeah.
So are we going to do it like we did last time?
Start from 10, work our way to 1.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. But before we get started, I do want to shout out honorable mention of an actor I couldn't put on the list because the movie he was in was pretty bad.
But we're talking strictly the acting performance because you put Jamie Lee Curtis for H2O in last one.
Yeah.
So, but what's your honorary mention?
Andrew Devenoff, the Jinn from Wishmaster.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was definitely the most interesting thing of the movie.
Yeah, he seemed like the only one that cared about that movie. So
In a sea of people not really caring.
Yeah, I feel like that performance should at least be shouted out.
Yes, I will allow the honorary mention because I think I honorary mentioned Eva Green last time just because I have the hots for her.
Yeah.
So if anything, I will allow the Jinn to make his way on the list. But I actually am very happy with this list because last time I think we had a good amount of crossover, especially near the end.
Yeah.
So do you want to get us kicked off with number 10?
All right. So for my number 10, I have John Jarrett playing Mick Taylor in Wolf Creek.
Okay. How about we give our answers and just a little explanation why they're on the list?
I think he took this it's loosely based on a true story, and he took this character and had this perfect mix of like just being such a sinister guy and also being able to play like the helpful citizen to lure people in, and then also
He looks like him and Freddy would get along.
yeah.
All right. And plus, if you think of Wolf Creek, I can't think of anything other than Mick Taylor. I couldn't tell you any of the other people's names.
Yeah, they didn't do a good job with the other characters, but Mick Taylor, they got it right.
I think that I have a decent contender, and I'm anxious to see how this goes. But number 10 for me is David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown.
Okay.
Talking about, I don't remember any of the characters' names except category. I think my number 10s and 9s are reserved for like up-and-comers I usually put, but Terrifier's been getting
a lot of love.
a lot of love. No small part due to David Howard Thornton.
No.
In his performance.
Yeah, they each have their merits in different way because David Howard Thornton had to rely a lot on like facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm pretty sure he didn't have any lines in the movie.
Who, Art? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't believe so.
It is strictly
much
facials,
much like Michael or Jason, he is very much a silent killer.
Yeah.
And unless he's silent until people are screaming or he's like using a chainsaw or something. But who do you think deserves the number 10 spot?
Yeah, but also on that, like unlike Jason and Michael, he has multiple different expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I will also say that this is also a recency bias thing because Terrifier is, it's been around for a little bit, but Art is now starting to kind of be getting a lot more traction.
Yeah, I still haven't seen the second one.
Me neither. And I've seen Wolf Creek maybe twice in my life.
Yeah, I've seen Wolf Creek 1 and 2. Both good movies.
Now, in terms of a villain, I think Art probably has a little more stopping power.
In terms of villain, yes.
We're talking performances here.
Yeah.
I guess
I think I would have to go with John Jarrett McTaylor. Because, he does have facial expressions as well, but he also delivers his lines.
How about you put a star?
perfectly.
How about you put a star next to this one? Ones that we can't come to a consensus right off the bat, we'll revisit.
All right.
So we'll put a star next to this one. And then we'll see which ones we can agree on and which ones we can be like, nah, I think we should, go to bat for it. Or anything that we don't get scored, we can put it to online.
Yeah.
All right, so how about 9?
Number 9, I have Nathan Basil, Leslie Vernon.
Oh, it pains me because I have Jigsaw up in here from Saw 2.
Oof.
Go ahead and defend your answer.
I mean, this is a guy who was in a movie with almost no budget, no marketing, but this movie has become like the cult following movie.
Leslie
It's not
Vernon.
mainstream, but almost every horror fan loves this movie. And
Leslie Vernon's mask should be our logo.
yeah, and I mean, it's a big part of his performance. The
Yeah.
way he's able to switch from being like almost carefree and joyful to super serious killer.
I mean, we've mentioned him God knows how many times on the show.
Yeah,
And my number nine, right? Yeah,
yeah,
Jigsaw 2. Well, Jigsaw 1 was Saw 1 was icon. Everybody remembers that ending.
yeah,
But Jigsaw never really got a whole lot of lines. He got a couple of like off-screen stuff, and you hear his voice
yeah,
obviously in the tapes. But
yeah,
Saw 2 is where we actually got to see him on screen acting
yeah.
alongside other people. And I just think further, Saw 1 had the better ending. Saw 2 had the better character development that we got to see from
Oh yeah,
Jigsaw, from Tobin Bell. So that's why he makes my number 2. That's why he makes
yeah,
my number 9.
yeah. Surprised I kind of forgot about Tobin Bell when I was making the list, but
I was trying to think of which Saw to do, but I was like, Saw might. A lot of people would probably say Saw 1 is the better movie, and it probably
yeah,
is.
oh
But you get more Jigsaw in
yeah, his
Saw 2,
performance in two is way better.
and most of it's just talking.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you're gonna have to fight me too hard on this one
yeah,
because I forgot about Leslie Vernon, and I think it would just be criminal not to have him on the list.
yeah. We have to go with Leslie Vernon in 9.
So yeah,
It's just a nuanced performance, and he nails it every
and
step of the way.
it's a shame you don't see the guy in much anything else.
Right? I think he teaches acting classes in LA now.
Appropriate.
Yeah,
Hey, good for that guy.
yeah.
All
He
right, so
deserves the world. He's great.
our first consensus, number 9.
Yeah. Nathan Basil as Leslie Vernon.
All right,
All right, what's your number 8?
Michael Gross as Burt Gummer in Tremors.
Oh, that's a good one. I went with Anthony Perkins from Psycho.
Anthony Perkins was going to make it on my list at some point, but I actually didn't. I actually don't have a lot of the heavy hitters on my list. I'm going to have to defend my Burt Gummer on this one. In a series that's already kind of like goofy,
Yeah.
like Burt stands out. He's been in, I think, all of them, hasn't he? No,
Yeah,
he hasn't. Yes, he's been in all of them.
all of them, yeah. He became the main character, I think, in the third one, they said.
Yeah, I've seen the first 4.
I think I watched 5 and I was going to watch the sixth one. I just haven't gotten around to it.
When it got to be around like 5 or 6, then I was like, all right. I started kind of teetering
Yeah.
off, but the first 3 are solid.
I think we're going to have to go with Burt Gummer because Psycho's a great movie and his performance is great, but I love Tremors and Burt's a big reason for it.
Sorry, Anthony. Not denying your place in cinematic history, but you can't.
We love you, but
But I
yeah,
love Burt Gummer more.
exactly. I'm mad that he's not on my list.
Hey, we had. That's 2 somewhat comedic performances that made it on this horror list.
Yeah, it shows.
Horror and comedy go hand in hand.
Yeah, it definitely shows our taste.
All right, so we've agreed with number 9 and number 8.
Yeah.
All right, 7. This one might trip us up a little bit.
All right. What is your 7?
John Cusack from Room 1408.
Okay. And I have Tony Todd from Candyman.
Ooh. I was gonna go with Jack Nicholson from The Shining, but I wanted to go with movies that I watch a lot more of, and I've watched Room 1408 probably way more than I've watched The Shining. But they're both Stephen King stories.
Yeah.
One's
I
just
have
shorter than the other.
probably seen 1408 one time.
It's a good movie, and for this is
Yeah, it's not.
also.
I'm not hating the movie.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I just yeah,
This actually combines a lot of stuff that I normally don't care for in horror movies. Like I'm not a big paranormal guy when it comes to horror movies. There's a couple
yeah,
that I like. I mean, I just mentioned Shining,
yeah.
and this one's on my list. But not only is this a paranormal movie, but it's a PG-13 one. And this was actually creepier than a lot of rated R movies. So this gets my probably my favorite PG-13 horror.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I went with Tony Todd because just like the gravitas he has in his performance, and
Hmm.
he just has an incredible screen presence in the role as Candyman.
And very dedicated, allowing all those bees to get on him.
Exactly,
Though
like
he did have it in his claws, but even still, he still was
yeah,
had to
he
be
made
out there
money
with
every
the.
time he got stung. But still, that's
He was still out there with the bees on.
in his mouth and stuff.
And I heard it somewhere that him and the main actress would ballroom dance between takes in order to uh, ballroom dance together between takes or at some point before shooting, so that they could have like this kind of like intimate on air chemistry.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
Because
actually
it's supposed to be kind of a seductive thing with
yeah,
Candyman.
yeah.
Um,
It's like they're doing a dance the entire movie. Like
all right, so
he's
now.
slowly seducing her, but
Mhm.
yeah,
All right, so now is Candyman better than? It's obviously more popular than
yeah.
Room 1408.
I think I would have to stick to Tony Todd because I feel like his performance is more memorable than John Cusack.
I'm trying to go with not just memorable, but because John
Yeah.
Cusack played scared, played angry, played pissed off, had a little bit more of a range in his acting than Tony
Okay.
Todd did.
Yeah. I'm like sitting here trying to remember 1408 because it has been like 10 years.
This is a good. We might need to put a star next to this one.
Yeah.
Because these are both in the good position. Like the number 7 position
Is
is perfect for
perfect.
both of these.
Yeah.
So we'll put a. You want to put a star next to this one?
Yeah. Yeah. We'll just come back to this one.
Okay, I'm fine.
On to number 6.
Okay,
I have Dwayne Jones, Night of the Living Dead.
I have John Hurt from Alien for that one scene specifically. Uh,
Wait, John Hurt was which one again?
Chestburster.
Oof. Okay.
It's I mean, John Hurt, was being relatively just like a normal part of the crew,
Yeah.
up to this point. He's fairly likable. He's just
Yeah.
kind of like a whatever role. He's just kind of off to the side, and then all of a sudden gives us the most memorable
So,
shot of the
yeah.
whole movie.
Just
And they didn't tell any of
yeah.
the other cast, so we had to sell it.
Yeah. Acting normal. Next, he's in pain, and then his chest bursts open.
And you say
Dwayne Jones,
Dwayne
Night of the
Jones,
Living.
Night of
Yeah.
the Living Dead.
It's a historic performance, being the first African American lead in a movie. Not only that, like they didn't harp on that in the movie. They just let him be a
Just let him
character.
be.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
Yeah.
very nice that, like, if that movie was made nowadays, they would have to make it a point to say that it's a black man in the lead, which
Yeah.
I
Like when
think kind
he's
of takes
playing,
away
yeah,
from something. If you're sitting there telling me what I'm saying, it's like, yeah, no, just let it
yeah.
unfold organically.
Like in the movie with the lead actress when he's trying to tell her what to do, and you're trying to decide if she's not listening to him because she's in shock or because it's a black man telling her what to do.
Yes, a lot of stuff that was
Yeah.
unsaid. Now,
Yes,
is that because of the performance or is that because of the editing?
that is true too. Yeah.
See, I'm not trying. That's the hard thing with these things
Yeah.
because all of these are good movies, but so we don't want to necessarily. I feel like if I am I'm going against Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. I mean, and we're going to get Alien, which are two
Both
iconic,
iconic movies. Yeah.
iconic movies, iconic performances, and then
Do we need to put another star next to it?
no, I'm gonna stay consistent. And John Hurt was the more memorable performance of the two, so
Yeah,
I'll give you
I'd
that
say
one.
that's
Yeah,
the thing though. I don't like for every one that we say no to, but we have to make the list.
Yeah.
So in this list, some things are going to be above other things. Like, why on earth is that above this? But you know what? It's the
I
list. We
mean,
have to do
if
it.
you want to make a compromise, and instead of us trying to figure out number 10, we put Dwayne Jones at 10.
No, we have to
Yeah.
make this. We have to make this list as ridiculous. If it was good enough for your number 10 or your number 6 or whatever, then we have to live and die by the choices we make.
All
So
right.
I say just put a star next to it. We'll come back because the so far we have two that we're like, all right, we definitely need to
Well, I mean,
debate over this.
this is the one
The
I think,
most.
no, I'm willing to concede to John Hurt.
Oh, to John Hurt.
Yeah.
I know, but part of me is wondering if I should concede it to John Hurt. I'll take it. I'll take John Hurt. I'll take the
Yeah.
W for it then.
We'll put John Hurt at 6.
Hashtag Chris hates progressive.
Yeah.
Progressive movies.
Number 5.
Oh,
I have Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead.
also, I went with Ray Fiennes from The Menu.
Ooh, okay. Ray Fiennes was someone that I looked at putting on my list, and then it just didn't happen.
Well, I figured I'd put Anya Taylor-Joy on it. I have to put Ray Fiennes on this one.
Yeah.
He was. I love funny Ray Fiennes
Yeah,
because
and their back and forth really made that movie as incredible as it is.
only other time I've seen him very funny was in Bruges,
Yeah,
and a lot of people just see him as Voldemort in this like scowling. I think that dude is funny.
yeah, he is funny, but Simon Pegg's pretty funny too.
Shaun of the Dead
Yeah,
was a phenomenon when it came out.
yeah,
I remember seeing advertisements for it everywhere when it came out. Menu, I've said, has been so far my favorite movie of 2023.
yeah. That well, it came out in 2022, but I didn't see it till 2023.
I didn't see it till 2023,
Yeah,
but
for a great movie, it didn't have that good of marketing because I didn't know about it until January or whenever it came out on HBO
that's kind of
Max.
nice though. It's kind of
Yeah,
like, you know what, it's like Leslie Vernon. I mean, I enjoy a movie that not a ton of people give
yeah, I
acknowledgement to.
remember. Yeah, and it does have that fineness of like stumbling onto a movie because I remember when I stumbled onto Leslie Vernon, I was like, "This is incredible."
I'd say the same thing for Shaun of the Dead though. I don't think people thought Shaun of the Dead was going to be as big as it ended up being.
That is true. Yeah, because I don't think I even watched any of like the trilogy until a few years after they came out.
This is tough because I do we love Edgar Wright on this show.
Edgar Wright is
I'm willing to give it up to Simon Pegg just
yeah,
because I do acknowledge some recency bias as well. I mean,
yeah,
it is a movie that I have seen like just 2 months ago,
yeah.
but I think that you could sit down and enjoy Shaun of the Dead probably a little bit more often than The Menu.
Yeah, and I've yet to go back and watch the menu a second time. So
And it was the perfect slacker is the hero of the story kind of movie.
yeah, he's the perfect actor for that performance. So
So I'll give it to Simon Pegg.
okay, Simon Pegg at 5. All right, Ed, who do you got at 4?
I'm gonna have to ask you if you would consider this one because it's technically psychological thriller, but I always consider those a subsection of it. I'll defer to you to let me know if you will accept this. Leo DiCaprio in Shutter Island,
I accept it because I've always considered Shutter Island like
like a thriller.
thriller horror. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna say Leo DiCaprio in Shutter Island.
Okay, I have Vincent Price, House on a Haunted Hill.
Dang. I'll say that he comes up, but a little further down for me.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I kind of figured we'd probably have him at some point, but it would be all right. But we got to figure out if he's going to be on this or is he going to be later. So, all right. So Shutter Island, we got Leo DiCaprio and Vincent Price,
Yeah.
two heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters.
I will say that Shutter Island probably right next to 1408, one of my favorite PG-13 horrors.
Shutter Island is a great movie.
Martin Scorsese definitely at his more artistic.
Oh yeah, but this is Vincent Price at his best.
Well, then
Like,
I
this is an
suggest
all-time
that.
great.
Then I
his
suggest you
best.
let me have this. That way we can put him higher on the list.
Oh, but I like the 3 I have ahead of him. You know what?
This we're at number 4 right now, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
I was gonna say we could do like we did last time and just say what our last top 5 are, and then
try to
figure and
sort them out from
then sort
there.
them out from there if you want.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so you want to tell me your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1?
All right, well, we're on 4, so it's Vincent Price.
No, actually, no, because we're compromising like we did last time. We have the whole point is that we have to fight for these. So no, it's Vincent Price from House on Haunted
On
Hill
Hill
versus.
versus Leo DiCaprio on Shutter Island. I love Leo, but I can't give it to him here. This is one I can't do
I
it.
have to give it to Leo because I think that Vincent. I can't give up my Vincent slot. um. All right, so let's just talk. I mean, we're again have to
I
live
mean,
and
when
die
it
by the
comes
choice.
to
Have
yeah,
to live and die
the
by the
die by
choices we make.
choices. Yeah,
So,
I
um,
mean,
if we're talking about in the zeitgeist, House on Haunted Hill is more well known.
yeah,
But we're talking about Scorsese here,
yeah. But we're talking about Castle here.
and Leo's a method actor.
That he is.
We're talking performances here,
Yeah.
not movie. So I'm trying to separate the movie from the performance.
Yeah, and I mean this. I mean, I haven't seen all of Vincent Price's performances, but I've seen a good amount. Say this is probably his best performance, and I just think
You know
not
what?
having him on the list at all would be criminal.
You would have made it if you just waited. But live and die by the choices we make. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess I say that. I mean, Vincent Price does have an aura about him.
yeah,
All right. You feel more passionately about having this Vincent Price slot, then we're just gonna have to see what happens when it comes a couple more slots later. So,
all right.
all right, you can give it to him if you want for number 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I have to. All right, now on to our top 3. And at number 3, this is the performance that got me to love horror. For the movie that got me to love horror. Matthew Lillard as Stu in Scream.
I went with Oliver Jackson Cohen, who played Luke in Haunting of Hill House, the drug addict.
Okay, that he did give a solid performance in that.
He
show,
was my
yeah.
favorite character in the entire thing. Just because, well, you see, I'm excluding
Yeah.
his performance as a little kid, just because
Yeah,
it's
different
two separate
actor,
things.
yeah.
But when you see what he went through, you can understand why he became addicted to heroin,
Yeah,
and you just
everything that
feel
happened. Yeah,
awful for him the entire time. You see everything because you see how it's from different points of view depending on what the episode is. Like, man, I just felt horrible for the guy. You can understand why his brother thinks that he's stealing from him, but you just want to be like, no, it's not the case. You don't understand.
yeah. All right, I mean, I went with Matthew Lillard because he's always at a 10 in this performance. Always just acting his heart out. And I just feel like he is an incredibly underrated actor. And I
Yeah.
still just have that like nostalgia feeling of seeing Scream for the first time.
See, I'm going against the probably what's popular right now, but I think that the guy who plays Luke, Oliver Jackson Cohen, gave a more ranged performance.
Oh, he definitely has a more nuanced performance.
If I have to
Yeah.
go with now, I'm not saying now Matthew Lillard definitely looks like he's having the most fun on screen,
Oh, yeah.
but if I'm going performance, I might have to
Yeah.
go with Haunting of Hill House. If I'm going just on performance, and if I'm going by what made me feel inside, I would say that Oliver has it for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give you 3 because it is. I enjoyed Matthew Lillard's performance more,
Hmm.
but his performance in Haunting in Hill House was better. So I'll give you that at 3.
Personally, I think that Matthew Lillard had better acting in 13 Ghosts, in all honesty. More ranged.
Yeah, it's more range.
More ranged, I'll say. He plays Stu very well, but
Yeah.
but he plays like this crazy kooky dude, in Scream.
Yeah.
But I think in Haunting a Hill House, or I think in 13 Ghosts, we see him like angry, we see him like
Yeah.
upset and scared, and you know what I mean? So
Yeah, he does deliver more range there, but
his iconic performance will always be Stu. So
yeah,
all right, so
or
I'll take-
Shaggy and Scooby Doo.
yeah, I wasn't much for the live Scooby Doo movies.
I don't know. They came out at like the right time for me because I was like 10 or 11. I
I'm
thought
sure
they
I
were great.
have
Yeah.
my fair share of like live action mixed with CG, but that one just never really hit me. All right, so number two. This one's my Vincent Price one.
I got Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
I have Vincent Price and House of Wax. Both burn victims.
Yes. Both incredible performances, both iconic.
This is why I wanted to
Yeah.
save Vincent Price because I was like, all right, but we've seen a couple of Vincent Price movies,
Which
but I
was
just remember watching House of Wax for the first time and going, in 10 minutes, this movie, because of Vincent Price alone, is 20 times better than the 2000s remake in 5 minutes.
well, anything he's in going to get better because of the screen presence he had. He's one of those actors that kind of he's always going to steal a show in every movie he's in.
So tell us why Freddy Krueger is better than Vincent Price.
One, it was an out of the box concept that I think not a lot of people had faith in.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Robert Englund's performance in the original Nightmare on Elm Street created just this
I will say
whole
that
new horror monster.
Nightmare on Elm Street is probably more important than
Yeah. And
House of
his
Wax.
performance, he's dark, scary, and then he's also has a couple witty one-liners at the perfect time. So you got to account for the comedic timing of this performance as well.
Yeah, this one's a tough one because both icons and both staples in the horror
Yeah.
genre.
But like I said, I feel like Vincent Price's performance in House on the Haunted Hill was better than House of Wax.
That's where it becomes purely subjective.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, either way, Vincent Price is coming on the list.
Yeah.
I guess it works out because if it worked out the other way, then we would have Leo DiCaprio and no Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
So, dang, I guess I got to give up both slots. I gave up my Vincent slot and I have to give up my Leo spot.
Well, can you get the top spot?
All right, what's your number one?
Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Anthony Hopkins in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, how the hell did I forget about him?
I thought you would have gone with that when I had Clarice Starling in my actresses
Yeah.
list. All right, I'm not budging on this one. When Anthony Hopkins isn't even the bad guy or main character in this movie,
but he's the most memorable part of the movie.
He is the most memorable, and I love him even more when I heard him in an interview, and they were like, "Oh, did you do any preparation or anything like that?" He's like, "No, I just showed up and read the lines."
Wow.
I was like, "I appreciate your honesty, Mister."
Yeah.
And then he explained why. He's like, I wanted to, he was written like as this crazy person and blah, blah. I wanted to show the intelligence of Hannibal, not the craziness, but the sane side of Hannibal.
Yeah.
Like a person who's crazy who obviously doesn't know they're crazy and is smart. I was like, all right. So, all right. That's my pick, and yours is Jack Nicholson, which was hard for me not to put in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my go-to when I think about like iconic performances. You think of Jack Nicholson in The Shining, but
if we're talking straight performances,
I'm gonna have to fold here. Yeah, I'm like kicking myself that I didn't put Anthony Hopkins on this list.
I mean, he is like, Anthony Hopkins is when I think of performances.
Yeah,
I think, the performance to me is Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
So that would make my number 1 and 2 female male spot would be Kathy Bates and Anthony Hopkins. That's a good movie right there waiting to happen.
Right. But,
so you concede I get that?
I concede there.
Yay.
Like, as soon as you said, I'm like, there's no beating that. I just had a brain fart and forgot to put them on the list.
How many, what numbers do we have stars next to?
Let's see. 10 and 7.
All right. Let's go back and talk about 10 and 7. What was number 10?
Okay. I had John Jarrett McTaylor in Wolf Creek.
And I had David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown.
Yes.
Mick Taylor versus Art the Clown.
Yeah.
Just based on performances. It's tough because 10 and 9 are usually reserved for, I like them, but they're maybe not be the best of performances, but I like it. You know what I mean? So I haven't seen Wolf Creek in years.
And I haven't seen Terrifier 2, and I haven't seen the first one since we reviewed it almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we have to stick with what's on the list
in
this one. And what was our number? What was it, 7?
7, I had
John Cusack from 1408 versus.
Tony Todd as Candyman.
I'm willing to give that up to go to Tony Todd.
Okay, yeah, and I'm willing to give 10 to Art the Clown.
Excellent. Awesome compromise. I think we have ourselves a list.
Yes.
What's our list going down 10 to 1?
All right, so you got, what is it, David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown as number 10, Nathan Basil as Leslie Vernon, number 9, Burt Gunner as from Tremors at number 8. I forgot the actor's name.
Michael Gross.
Michael Gross. Number 7 is Tony Todd, Candyman. Number 6, John Hurt, Alien. Number 5 is Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead. Number 4 is Vincent Price, House on the Haunted Hill. Number 3, is it Oliver Cohen?
Oliver Jackson Cohen.
Oliver Jackson Cohen. Okay. Haunting on Hill House. Number 2, Robert Englund, A Nightmare on Elm Street. It's Freddy Krueger. And the number 1, Anthony Hopkins.
We're gonna have to
Silence of the Lambs.
We're gonna have to review Silence of the Lambs at some time.
We really are, yeah.
We should do the whole Hannibal trilogy. Silence of the Lambs, Red Dragon, and Hannibal. This is kind of what I wanted more of in terms of making these lists.
Yeah.
Minimal crossover, but we managed to come to a consensus.
Yeah.
All right, so we still have it in us to do another top 10, I think.
And you said you had an idea for it.
Our top 10 scientific experiments gone wrong.
Okay.
That's like scientific creations, or the person was trying to do this. Science, basically the crux of the movie is that the reason why things are bad right now is because of some science gone wrong.
All right, yeah.
I think that one would be good. It'd be a couple of, I'm sure a couple of like, are you going to count this? Are you going to count that kind of thing? I think that one's open-ended enough.
I like that one.
So top 10 science experiments gone wrong.
Yeah.
But that one might be our last top 10 though of this season.
Yep.
But we're slowly figuring out what we're going to be doing for next one.
Yes, we are. It's going to be exciting, so you guys keep listening.
And thank you to everybody, all of our followers, all of our guests of this season. We appreciate you as always. And with me as always, Broke Rider Dave, and I've been Chris Thomas.
Have a good week, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening to Body Bag Podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave us a comment as to what you'd like to hear us review, or any horror movie topics you'd like to hear us rant and rave about.
And while you're at it, you can find us on Twitter at BodyBagPod and on Instagram at BodyBagPodcast.
Thanks, and we'll see you next time.